There's this ancient story that can be found in the first book of the library of books known as the Bible, called the Tower of Babel. In this story, there's this group of people that come together to build something great, a tower. And their motivation, it would seem, is to stroke their ego, to build their own empire, to show how awesome they are. There's language thrown around to show God who they are, that they could be like God. And in this story, God sees the motivation and knows that this can only lead towards destruction. This motivation of just wanting one's own empire, of wanting to be great, of stroking the ego, isn't going to end well. And so he confuses the way they communicate. And the instant there's that lack of connection, the instant they're disconnected, they disperse out, they leave, and the project is finished. Whether you believe this story or not is not the point of this video right now. The point is there's something deep and profound found in that story that rings true today. Take the internet for an example. The promise of the internet is connection. The promise of the internet is we can work together with our different backgrounds and our different nationalities and our different ideas and come together and build something good for the common good. But you'll know that although there's been some great stuff with technology and entertainment, and of course it gives us the ability to make this video, the internet has not met the promise that we think of when we think of it. Just look at any comment section and you'll notice that human brokenness gets in the way. Just look at the increasing surveillance or blocking. We say, oh, we're all tolerant of we like to throw out that word of all views except for this one, and we don't want to hear from that one. And so you're not allowed to see that anymore. And some of those are dangerous ideas, and some of that is getting pretty ridiculous. It certainly doesn't offer this connection that we so long for. These two stories I tell, actually, I'll be honest, is to get to this third story. And it's the season we're in at the moment. If you're a church goer or you're a follower of Jesus, you would know that this season we're in at the moment is one called Pentecost. Pentecost is just a fancy word for the festival that happened 2,000 years ago when there was a group of people sitting in a room and waiting for something that had been promised. And as they waited, it says that a spirit descended on them, which can be, in other translations, can be like similar to what would be known as God's breath descended on them. It says it was like fire coming down from heaven upon them, good fire. And it says that as they received this fire, they started to speak in the languages of everyone listening, now moving outside to the wider crowd. In fact, all nations that were there could understand what they were saying in their native tongue. A spirit that was unifying. Now, there was a bunch of language in that around unifying, spirit, God, fire, that you're like, I'm out. You may not be able to handle that. That's okay. Don't switch off, because even if you believe any of these stories, you at some stage have to address the fact that this spirit, that these people, that this unifying presence, that this God's breath made these people the most influential people ever. Within 300 years, that this small Jewish sect had become the main spiritual practice of the empire. Within 2,000 years, they'd invented hospital systems, all types of healthcare. They'd shaped the Western idea of freedom and progression. They started schools, literally. There's some research that says that some early followers of Jesus helped chocolate. It would seem that they have their hands in everything that was good. Not that they were perfect. Christians have definitely not been perfect, or those that say they're Christians, because they're broken too. But still, this group, unified by this spirit, truly connected to something ancient and deep, have been incredibly profound and world-shaping. So you at least have to consider what happened. The reason I tell you all these stories is not just for some fun facts, but it is because we live in a season of incredible connection, but we feel disconnected. So many of us feeling lonely, feeling like we have everything, every option, but we don't know which direction to take. People don't know where to turn, who to follow. Leaders letting people down, information or disinformation dispersed everywhere. And so I tell you a story of a Holy Spirit that connected these people, men and women, 2,000 years ago, that changed everything. They were unified under a common good that changed the entire world. For me to follow this, to explore this, to investigate this, the same invitation I'm inviting you into is for me to unplug at times and disconnect myself from the false promises and to investigate what this ancient spirit, this ancient set apart or Holy Spirit might be, what it can do and what it wants to change and do in me. That's the invitation for this video. Love you to consider this on this Pentecost season, and we'll see you in another video soon. If you like this one, don't forget to hit notifications or subscribe, and we'll speak soon.